Good morning, September 11th, 2025. Welcome to 12 Gauge Investigative Top Stories. Hope you enjoy. This first story is about a train operator minutes before he crashes.
Sister, Rana Nofal, now a homicide case. Dennis Day, Nofal's roommate, in custody and charged with murdering the flight attendant. According to an affidavit, Day said Nofal was videoing him and threatened to call police. He said he snapped and strangled her. Day told police he used his friend, Joni Thomas's truck, to drive to Bowie, where he said he threw Nofal's body over a bridge. Thomas now joins her friend behind bars. Police say they found a seemingly accidental voicemail from Day to Thomas. In it, they say you can hear a male and a female voice appearing to try to move something heavy, saying things like, "Hey, help me, make sure the lid's on," and "I'm sorry I got you messed up in this."
It's been police still here taking whatever information and as well as crime scene evidence that they can gather. As you see this pickup truck that is basically halfway out of the Louis Vuitton store. This may have been a crash and grab. Police have not yet confirmed that. What we're being told at this point is that this is one of three particular scenes that occurred earlier this morning. Now, we do have some video, some cell phone video from a witness that actually witnessed this happening. Cell phone video from a camera captured moments thieves rammed the vehicle into this luxury store. Then you see a group of people dressed in dark clothing go into the store and then run out of the store with stolen items. That's when you also notice that there are people that have driven up in other vehicles or those that were already parked. The folks that ran out of the store then jump into those cars and they speed away. Now, as I mentioned before, it is still unclear if these particular scenes, this one here in Walton and Michigan, the one in Ohio and Michigan, and then another scene down on southbound Lakeshore Drive near Roosevelt, if they are in any way all connected. Police have not confirmed that, but we do still have three particular scenes. What we know is that this appears to be a crash and grab that kind of started all of this, and then I guess basically appears to have migrated south on Michigan Avenue, but we're still waiting to get more information on that. Let us throw it to Diane in traffic just to get some more information there. Diane, what do you know right now?
And that's exactly what we've been trying to piece together, Evelyn, is if these scenes are
clears the way for the Trump administration to restart sweeping ICE raids across Los Angeles. Paul Perez is here now to react. National Border Patrol Council President. Paul, your reaction first to this ruling.
Yeah, this is great for our agents, but it's even better for the citizens of California and our country because it's going to move the impediment of us allowing to go after these criminals that are all over the country. And so it's really great news. Our agents are very well trained. They undergo a very rigorous academy that's both mentally and physically demanding, where we study constitutional law, immigration law, and criminal law. And so they know exactly what they're doing. This only is going to help us do the job a lot better.
And Paul, DHS reacting to this ruling, they say in part, quote, "This is a win for the safety of Californians and the rule of law. DHS law enforcement will not be slowed down and will continue to arrest and remove the murderers, rapists, gang members, and other criminal illegal aliens that Karen Bass continues to give safe harbor." Paul, what this ruling is essentially going to do is allow Border Patrol, your men and women, to use location, job type, physical appearance, Spanish speaking as some of the factors when making arrests. Why are those factors important to use?
Those are all considered articulable facts. You know, all our agents and officers are trained on how to testify to everything that we do. We understand that all the actions that we take may wind up having us sit in front of a judge and explaining our actions, because every defendant has the right to counsel, and most of these attorneys are going to try to suppress evidence or suppress the stop. And in this case, it allows us to use those articulable facts to establish the reasonable suspicion or the probable cause to effect an arrest. So we know what we're doing. This only allows us to do it, and it takes into account all of those factors that you mentioned.
Paul, what does this ruling mean for ICE sweeps in other American cities like Chicago?
It's great because, again, it allows us to do exactly what President Trump said he was going to do, which is remove these criminals. We know they're operating. I mean, there's millions across the country, so it's not going to be only in Chicago. Anywhere we decide to go, we're going to be successful because of the amount of illegal immigrants that were allowed into this country under the 4 years of the Biden administration. So it's going to be good for us to be able to go out there and use this ruling to apprehend more people that should not be in the country.
And Paul, you might remember back in August, LA Mayor Karen Bass took a little bit of a victory lap when that lower court first blocked what ICE and Border Patrol were doing out here. Here's what she said at the time, quote, "Los Angeles stood strong and we won. You can't just snatch people off the streets based on appearance. The court knows that, the people know that, and now this administration knows that." Well, the Supreme Court has now ruled against Los Angeles, at least for now, while the underlying merits of the case play out. But that's been the criticism, Paul, is that Border Patrol is just going out there and just snatching anybody who looks Latino to them out here in Southern California. What has really been happening?
Yeah, and that's unfortunate, the fear-mongering and the rhetoric, the false rhetoric. So our agents they're enforcing immigration law as it is on the books. You know, these are targeted enforcement actions. You know, we use a number of factors to determine where we're going to go and who we're going to go after. And many of these people, they run as soon as our agents and officers get there. So that as well is an articulable fact that can be used for reasonable suspicion. And we can go after them, we can chase them down, and then our investigation begins to determine whether this person's legally or illegally in the country, and then we take them into custody based on, you know, the answers that they give. So, you know, Karen Bass and those other Democrats that are demonizing our agents, they need to stop because it makes it a lot more dangerous for our agents to do the job that they were trained and swore to do.
All right, Paul Perez, thanks so much for joining us on the Breaking News. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
In Lubbock, Texas, seen here dangling off a highway overpass as a group of Good Samaritans rush in to help.
Heard a crash. Someone had hit that cruiser and pinned those two guys up against the wall.
The sheriff's department says the two deputies were outside their parked patrol cars helping a driver when a semi-truck crashed into one of their cars, pinning the deputies against the guardrail. Witnesses at a nearby gas station ran over, officials say, appearing to use rope and ladders to hoist the deputy to safety.
We got our ladder. So the only thing we can do is just grab it and help out as best we can.
The sheriff's department writing in a statement, "Thank you, Lubbock citizens, for watching over our deputies." All those involved are expected to recover, officials say, as tonight the crash remains under investigation.
Kelly O'Donnell. Kelly, we just saw this post just a bit ago. The subject that was in custody has been released. What do we know here?
Sorry, Gadi, you caught me mid-communication with sources here, so bear with us. Yes, this is a stunning turn of events. This has been a day marked by confusion, and clearly there is a very wide-ranging investigation happening now, but this is not following what we might typically see. So let me take us back to what was happening at the time of the event. After the shooting itself, of course, law enforcement is scanning the scene, looking for information. There was one older man who was taken into custody by local authorities. We had done some work on him, and he is not suspected in the shooting. He was charged with an obstruction case. Then we learn from official sources of a suspect being detained and believed to be involved in the shooting. That's how it was depicted to us through various sources in law enforcement and government. And then, of course, we had on the record the governor of Utah saying there was a person of interest in custody. Kash Patel, the FBI director, using his social media to refer to an individual as a subject. Other officials, other sources of ours were saying that they had confidence that the individual being held was someone they thought would be, in fact, the suspected shooter. So not just a witness, not just a material person, those kinds of things. We're trying to figure all of that out. Now, after some period of time where we believe there was an attempt at least to question that individual who was detained, now Kash Patel is saying that subject has been released. That suggests that they do not have any compelling evidence to hold that individual right now, because with a charge of this type, a murder and other potential crimes, it would be very difficult to let someone go without probable cause. So this is a surprising turn of events, and we will keep working our sources to try to find out more. Authorities had also said they could see a figure in dark clothing. Earlier, the university said they believe that the shooting took place from a rooftop. There is some grainy imagery that seems to show a figure moving along the rooftop. We don't know if that's the shooter. So hours after the murder, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, sorry, my phone is ringing. Sources will have to hold on a second. Hours after the murder, we're still in a situation now where investigators may be in a manhunt situation, looking for more evidence, more information. There would be other things they could try to do in terms of assessing the wounds sustained by Charlie Kirk in his death that perhaps could give some indication of the type of weapon they're looking for, the range, that kind of thing. So the headline is there was a subject in custody. That subject has been released.
Tonight after a series of attacks at her business, a business that's only been open for a few months.
WGN's Jenna Barnes is at the restaurant on East 87th Street with surveillance video of those attacks. Hi, Jenna.
Hi, Micah and Ben. Yeah, the owner of this Fat Burger tells us that this building was vacant for more than a decade before she brought the business to Chatham here, and she's determined to stay here despite the crime. Tonight, she's calling out parents.
It's so heartbreaking watching on the surveillance camera, them running for their lives.
That surveillance video shows two back-to-back incidents inside the new Fat Burger in Chatham. In the first, one employee fights off an attacker who came behind the counter. That was in December. Then in January, more people jumping over the counter and causing problems.
But thank God to a customer who was a concealed carrier, he pulled out his gun and he scared them off.
The owner, Jackie Jackson, said she initially kept the videos to herself because she didn't want the negative attention, but she chose to release them this week with a message for parents.
It's just very challenging, and I believe the problem starts at home. The home needs to be the foundation. The parents need to be the leader. The parents need to be the educator, and the parents need to be the kids' hero. If that foundation is not built, it's going to spill over into the school system. It's going to spill over into the businesses, and then eventually it's going to the streets. So we need to do something as a community and hold the parents accountable.
She says she's doing her part by employing high school students, giving them the same opportunity she used to launch her career as an entrepreneur. She also owns 7 Kilwins locations.
So they just not only have a job, but they can also inspire to own a Fat Burger and a Kilwins just like I did. It doesn't take a person with a lot of money. It takes faith, resilience, and hustle.
Since the incidents, Jackson has added a window to the counter, tall fences, and an even better security system. Chicago police even stopped by today. Business, though, is still struggling. She's had to lay off some of those employees.
We want her to thrive because guess what? We want her to come to the 17th Ward.
Alderman of the nearby 17th Ward, David Moore, says working to support one business can have a positive impact in neighboring communities.
There was a time back in the day where this type of stuff wouldn't happen because we protected our own interests within, right? We wouldn't tear up what we have in our communities, right? Which is why these type of establishments are scared to come into communities these days.
I'm never giving up. I'm never closing.
Suspected drug vote as part of Operation Pacific Viper. It comes as the Trump administration targets Venezuela's drug trade. And Griff Jenkins joins us live in Washington with the details. Hey, Griff.
Hey, Ainsley, good morning. Another narco boat going up in flames, this time at the hands of the Coast Guard, south of the Galapagos Islands in the Pacific. Watch this. The Coast Guard posting on X saying over the weekend, as part of Operation Pacific Viper, the Coast Guard cutter Stone conducted 3 interdictions in a single night, seizing nearly 13,000 pounds of cocaine and apprehending 7 suspected drug smugglers. And while this operation was more of a law enforcement interdiction rather than a shoot-to-kill military strike like we recently saw over a week ago with that Venezuelan narco boat, all of this is part of the Trump administration's crackdown on cartels, as Secretary Hegseth told our colleague Rachel this morning.
President Trump has declared war on the cartels. What is the mission? What's your mission?
Well, protect the homeland, protect the American people. Core national interests, the safety of the American people. Stop the killing, stop the poisoning of the American people. It's as simple as that. I mean, how long have drug cartels waged war on our communities, on our families, on our young people, on our streets? Violent cartels that made their way easily across the southern border under Joe Biden and his disastrous policy. So President Trump's locking the border down.
And we may see more of those videos, Ainsley. A Coast Guard spokesman telling me last night that they are surging additional cutters, resources, and tactical teams to go after the cartels. Ainsley?
Remember to stay safe. Always watch your 6. This is 12 Gauge Investigative. Enjoy your day.